because my voice is all the time not completely perfect. And I've discovered my pathology when I was 39 years old.
Wow. What did you have?
I'm going to clean that. Very much better.
Oh my goodness me. It's like you're in HD now.
I know.
Did you like do this with your fingers beforehand?
Maybe yes, I don't know, because that's the laptop I use on the couch and we don't know.
That's a really good point. So what I wanted to actually, you know what? I've got some questions for you.
You have questions?
course I have
My
questions.
goodness, how many questions there are.
Don't be worried, because actually, Mrs. Alizia Romero, I found very little information about your singing history online.
I know, because there are not. In this year, in a couple of months, I'm going to celebrate my 30th anniversary as professional singer. So I'm in the middle of that. I need to
Wow.
write like a biography
You
about
do.
yeah, so I will send you.
You do need to send that to me, because I was like, right, I'm going to have a look at what has Alicia been up to in the last couple of years of her life, as the
Yeah.
spring chicken that she is. But I wanted to have a chat with you about your singing as as a singer, and your history and all that sort of stuff.
Okay,
If
good.
that's okay
It
with you.
sounds amazing.
If that's okay. And I would you go with the flow?
Sorry, to what?
We'll just go with the flow. But at the
I
same time,
understand.
I have
Other
lots of
thing
questions.
that no, I don't want. I was it's talking about any, I don't know, New Zealand word about toilet. No, no, no.
New Zealand word about.
Yeah, because the British, they say go to the loo,
Yeah,
and I was
true.
thinking maybe she's saying something about going to.
No, I'm not. We're not going to the loo. We're gonna go. We're gonna go with the flow.
With the flow. Very important to go with the flow.
It
Okay, I
is
agree.
really important. But Mrs. Alicia Romero, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for inviting me here again. This is my second time. This is my first time in the podcast.
Yes.
But this is not my first time in your channel.
No,
And
it's not.
I'm very honored to be here. I admire you a lot. I'm very
Aw.
proud to be a watcher and observer of your amazing career, because I was there at the beginning when you
You
started.
were.
Yes.
And it was so exciting. Thank you so much for coming on, because I just love your energy. I love everything that you do. And I just think it's so amazing. Like, you're not only this incredible teacher that has this amazing online presence, and you're in TV, you're doing, you're an actress, you're a singer, you're a professor, you're a vocal coach, and you're like everything. And I just think it's really amazing. Like, I love it. I love sitting down with you.
And me too. And you become like we can say that a media star doing, yes, no, but I'm completely honest about this. I think your growing was amazing, and you were very focused to get that. And I love that, because we are very hard workers, you and I.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you reach your goals because you were working a lot and you get them, is amazing. So congratulations again. And so honored to be here.
Oh, thank you.
Very honored.
I think you even agreed to come on my channel when I had like 60 subscribers. So I really thank you for like believing in me.
And with minus 52 also too,
Exactly.
It's okay. So it's okay. And if you start another thing that you have 0 views, I will be the 1 view. And then we can record something together and we can see each other all the time, beep, 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 like the fans. Yeah. So yeah.
I love it.
And we will increase the views, only you and I, in our own video. And it's
Let's
great.
just do it. I'm just going to put your channel, because you've also got a really successful channel. I had a look today. You have 37,500 subscribers for your singing channel. I think it's amazing.
Thank you. It's a Spanish channel. So we have all the content is in Spanish, and it's in the happy birthday. It's the 10th anniversary now from the channel. Yeah. So at the beginning, I upload more singing vocal technique videos, but it was a point that I was thinking, okay, I said anything that I want to say here because I want to give people advices, but I want to give good advices and things that people can relate with.
Yeah.
But we know that it's not the same that when we are coaching. So it was like, okay, I think that's the info that they need. And now I used to upload some of my TV interviews or radio interviews or some of my choirs things. And in the future with my anniversary, I promise to upload some of my singing videos. So yes, it's a great way to meet new people and do some networking. And I reply to all the comments. I'm very proud of that.
Wow.
So every week I sit down and say, okay, what's new here? Yes.
That is amazing. And I like your channel's fantastic because for everyone listening and watching, I call Alizia the belting queen because she just has the most amazing voice. You do have the most amazing voice. And I just love it. And I really want to sing a song with you.
Okay, we can do that. I don't know where, but we can arrange that.
I'm not sure how, but we're gonna arrange that. We'll arrange to sing a song. But have you always sung?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you sing? A lot of people like, oh, I was singing when I was like 4 in the bathtub. Did you always sing?
Yes. So I was around 5 and I was watching TV and I was waiting for the ads, for the advertisement to, jump from the couch and start singing and dancing. So it was there from the beginning because of my anniversary. And, I'm going back to some files and tapes that now they are in MP3 and they have like the sound is a little, not so good. But if you listen to my voice when I was 14, 13, and you listen to my voice now, okay, I have more experience, I know more tricks, blah, blah, blah. But it's the same timbre, exactly. So you recognize me like this is my voice. And this, it's like, it's like my face. I have the same face since I was born. So people that didn't see me, I don't know, since I was 4, they say, hey, how are you? And I say, I don't know you. But I know you because when you were 4, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's the same. I always sang. I always say that this is like a gift that I have. I didn't need to learn. So it was there. And I was I don't know. I was convinced,
Convinced, yeah.
convinced. Thank you. I was convinced when I was little that you cannot do a career singing. So I started to study at the conservatory, piano, blah, blah, and I was studying to become a music teacher. But I didn't think about this is something that can give you money. It was very stupid, So I was singing all the time like a hobby. And when I was like 12, 13 around, I started to go to some contests, but very in my town, not very important ones, like karaoke places where they were doing some contests. And I didn't win, but they start to call, and it was so fun. This is completely true. We don't have a regular phone at my mom's house, but we have like a Spanish bar, cafeteria, the place where you go every single day to chat and stay there with your friends. So we have one close to our house, and they call to the bar, like ring, ring, ring. It's Alicia there. No, it's not. It's at her house, So can you say her be here tomorrow at 5 and I will call her again. So they start to call me to offer me a job. And my mom, gets into the conversation like, do you know how old is she? Yes, she's 18, right? My mom said, no, she's 13. Oh my. So we call back later in 2 years. Bye, boom. So yeah, so I start to think, oh, maybe I can get money from this. So my first check came when I was 15.
Wow. So that was when you were already 12, like through these competitions, you then performed and people then started, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I start very young, very complicated situations, a lot of road, night gigs, coming home at 8, 9 in the morning, very crazy situations with the bands I work with because they were not very good places. I was crying all the time. My mom was tell me, what are you doing this? Mom, I have to do this because I have to learn I don't know. So I was there like 4 years, and finally I decided to do other things. It was like, no, this is not something for me. I don't like to perform at night. I
Okay.
don't like the travels. So I I start to teach more or less at the same time.
So that was when, just so I can get the timeline, is it so you were about 15 when you started with this band, and then when you were 19,
I
you sort
stop.
of, you already, wow.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that because a lot of people, I suppose they get into those situations. I love that you just made that decision and were like, hey, this is just not like performing late isn't for everybody.
No. The last year I was doing this, we were doing like in the summer because we were traveling around my region every single
Mm-hmm.
night. So we were doing like 30 gigs day by day, no stop. So I leave my house around 2 or 3 p.m. And then we travel to the place. We have to do all the sound
Mm-hmm.
ourselves or the lighting ourselves. So it was very physical. Then we do the gig, and when we will come back, maybe it was 10 when I get into the bed. So I
Mm-hmm.
have 4 hours to sleep and start again. So I was doing like 28, 30 days, and we have 5 free days, and then 32 again. So in the 5 days that we were free, we have a problem in a restaurant, and we ate something that was not very good. So we have food poison. And it was the 5 days inside the bed because I was very ill, and all the time. And when the 5 days finishes, we start again. And can you imagine after that I said, no, I have to stop with this. This is not a life that I want to do
Yeah.
more because this is crazy. It was very, very hard. And at the same time, I have a huge voice pathology, and I couldn't talk. So I was the all day like, and then I came to the stage and I sang every single night. I don't know how. I think
So what
because I
was
was
the
19.
what was when you're 19, anything goes. So many of my students are just like, oh, I haven't warmed up. And I'm like, do you know what? When you're like 15, it's okay. you know, I used to just like, but you don't ask children like, please warm up before you run in the playground. Like you don't. It's the same sort of thing. But like as an adult, if I start running, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna regret this tomorrow. But
Yeah.
did you then like was that when you were speaking that you had that pathology, and then like the singing was fine, or
I think it was not so fine, but I had to learn fast
okay?
to do something to not to seem like I was completely destroyed. So it was huge because my voice was very bad for so many months. I
Mm-hmm.
was with an ENT at the times, and I was taking some drugs to recover from the inflammation, blah blah. But I didn't know that moment will condition in the rest of my singing career, because at now 2025 I don't know which voice pathology I had,
Mm-hmm.
because I have very bad diagnosis. So I don't know if it was something that was with me my entire life, and because of the extreme singing that I was doing day
Yeah.
by day, it appeared. I don't know if it's something that I was provoking because of my voice working all the time. I don't know. So, and it was, spoiler, is here yet. So, all my entire career, I was having a pathology without knowing that. Because after that summer, the ENT said, don't worry, you are okay, your vocal folds have recovered. And I said, oh, good. So I'm fine. Perfect. I was not. Spoiler, I was not. So all my
Wow.
entire career, I was thinking, my voice is very, very delicate. I'm not like other singers. I have to be very, very careful about the things that I do, how much time do I sleep, the things that I eat, because my voice is all the time not completely perfect. And I've discovered my pathology when I was 39 years old.
Wow. What did you have? What
A
do
lot
you
of
have?
things.
Oh, okay.
A lot of things, but basically because it's very technique and we don't want to, to get people bored. I'm very lucky because regularly people with this kind of pathology, they cannot sing. And yeah, and when the ENT saw that, she told me, I cannot believe it because I was listening to your speaking voice, I was listening to your singing, and when they put, the tube inside the, she said, this is impossible. And that was the moment that I said, okay, so all the work that I was doing about vocal technique, also all these years, it saved me, It's like the example, yes, because I have so much control about the things that I do, but
Yeah.
because I was training my muscles. But it has like a price because I have to work more than
Yeah.
other people. But anybody notice that? But sometimes, when I'm ill or something's going on or I didn't sleep well, these kind of things, I have to be very careful
Hmm.
because, I've never in all these years, I only lose my voice two times and two times, and it was like a virus.
Hmm.
It was nothing about that I was, doing extreme singing. No, no, it was like a virus, and it's just like for 10 hours, 12 hours, and then it came back. But, so it's interesting that I was very, very, very disciplined about taking care of my voice
Hmm.
also many years. And, and yeah, I can belt and do other things, but I
You
cannot
really
sing
can.
soft.
Oh, you struggle to sing soft?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not now, because I was working hard on that, and
Yeah.
because I know because of my voice pathology, the things that are very complicated. So all the things about singing softy, high notes, very pianissimo, these kind of things are like the impossible dream for me. So I was working so hard, and now I can do them also. Very
Wow.
proud, but only with good sleep, good hydration, blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
but if I have a bad day and I feel it, I can feel it, I can notice that, and I have to do some voice examples with my choirs or in my online workshops, whatever. I told people this is not my best day. So I try two times, and if
Hmm.
I cannot, I have my own voice pre-record, and I play, like this is the
Hmm.
thing that I want, because we are humans. So
Yeah.
sometimes you are not going to be perfect all the time. That's
Yeah.
impossible.
That's
So,
amazing.
yes.
Oh my goodness me. Did you find then that, so did you go to singing lessons when you said you didn't have lessons, right? When you were like 14,
Yes, I
15?
have. I had lessons when I was in the middle of the lessons when we discovered the pathology. The first one, my family didn't get it. They were saying to me, how this can it be possible because you are going to a singing teacher, so why this is happening? So
Mm,
I don't think it was my singing teacher fault. I always said to my, because my thing now is that I coach other vocal coaches about how to teach. So that's
yeah.
my thing. So I always say to them, when you have a bad experience about with a teacher, they teach you all the things that they know. And regularly they do with very good intentions.
Hmm.
Maybe, a little percentage of people are mean, but like in the real life. But regularly they do what they know only. So I don't think it was my singing teacher fault. But of course, she taught me about pushing and breathing and these kind of things.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was so angry, scared, and worried about all the situation that the mainly reason I started to coach other people was because I was very afraid to allow to other people to have bad experience.
Yeah.
So I was trying to be there to help them and to avoid the things that had happened to me. That it's impossible because sometimes crazy things are going to happen. But it was the main reason why I started vocal coaching. Yes, it's funny.
Wow. And were you 19 then when you started teaching?
Yeah, yes and no, because I started teaching piano and choral conduction. It was like a subject of choral, so they were singing very easy pieces, two or
Yeah.
three voices, not very complicated. And I was teaching music to little children, so I started when I was 15. And yes, everything was very, early in my life. And then my anniversary, I was 19 because my first lesson to one person in my life was the 15th of February of 2000.
Wow.
So it was 2000, but my birthday is in December. So I was very close to 19, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So my first lesson was to a boy, 15th February, 3rd March to a girl. And that's
That
where,
was yesterday.
yes, it's 20, 25 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. It's
That's
a long road, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about that recently, obviously, like for marketing purposes and things like that. That's why I think, like, how long have I been teaching for? It's about 18 years. I started as well when I was 18. And I think that it's interesting to think about it like that length of time. I always used to think when I started teaching, like, oh, I need to pretend like I need to be sure like not tell anyone how old I am. And like because I like I've got no credibility being an 18-year-old teaching singing. So like whenever anyone what asked, I'd just be like old enough, you know? And now that I'm 36, 37 in a month, I'm like, I'm 36 and 37. Now I feel like I'm like credibly old enough to say that I'm a singing teacher.
Okay, you are so young. I'm
Oh,
very
thank
jealous
you.
right now.
What do you mean you're
Yes.
jealous? Aren't you like 40?
For which year is this?
It's
It's
25.
25. Okay, so 44.
Whoa. Well, you don't look a day over
Thank you.
39.
But it's funny because my right hand person or my most trusted person around me, that is called Andrea, that I think she's the one that he's going to follow all my steps
Uh-huh.
after me. She's 22 now,
Wow.
and she's amazing. And she doesn't think about that. So she knows for sure she's going to be the youngest,
Yeah.
but she doesn't think about that. And I love that. It's another generation, they
Yeah.
have different views of different things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, 22 is like the middle. So 44, 22. Amazing.
I don't think, I genuinely, I mean, I don't think that age has a hell of a lot to do with it. I think that if there's always something that you can share with people. So
Yeah.
I even have a student of mine. I mean, actually, she just turned 18 and she teaches her mum singing.
Wow.
And it's lovely because she comes to me for singing. She basically, she teaches her mum and um, it's she's got some really lovely things to say. She says things that we were talking about. She's learned well over the last we've been singing together now for like 7 years. And so she's now passing that on her knowledge to her mum, who is a beginner singer. And so she's 7 years on with her training. She's also a very gifted singer. And so, she's imparting that knowledge. And I think that as long as it's with the best intentions in mind, like you said, you don't go out there. I didn't start at 18 thinking like, I'm the best thing out there since sliced bread. I'm gonna like you bow down to my vocal technique abilities. Like I was thinking like I just want to help these people to be
Yeah.
able to sing with more ease and like less pressure. And I hope that I did help them. I'm actually recording a podcast with my very first singing student
Wow.
when I go back to New Zealand because she's now a vocal coach. And it's like,
Wow.
I realized she was not a lot younger than me, actually. I think she was 16 and I was 18. And so I thought to I'm going to ask her, I don't know, did I do a really terrible job? Because I can't remember. But
Yeah.
you never go out there trying to do a bad job. You always want to just help these people.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
just like you said, my teachers that also told me to push and pull and all that sort of stuff, like that's just the way that they were taught singing. That's just the way that they thought that it worked. And they just did it with the best intentions in mind. So, I don't blame anyone that says these sorts of things either.
Yeah, and the important thing, I think it's that you can be, you could be mind opened, to change. And when I
Mm-hmm.
have now singing teachers that they are 45, 50, 55 coming to my courses, I treat them with a lot of respect, taking care a lot, because I know I'm going to tell them things that are going to be very complicated to them, because they are going to put the house down, right? So I try to be very gentle all the time. And because I was there in another time too, and I know all the process that they are starting now, and I'm very honored to be part of the process too. So I want to help them to get into the new way of teaching with care, loving, compassion, because they will need that. We know that.
But I love that's so fantastic, because if you're like 45, 55, you've been teaching like you have as well for like a long period of time, and to
Yeah,
still be in that mindset of like, I'm going to go and learn something new because I want to help my students. And that's
yeah,
all it's really about, is about,
totally.
constantly evolving, constantly doing new things. And for those of you who don't know, Alethea is actually an EMCI, which is an Estel Master Instructor, right?
And still mentor and course instructor.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, I'm the
You
first
fancy
Spaniard
pants.
to get that. You know that?
It what? Sorry,
I was the first Spaniard to get that.
I saw
Yeah.
that on your bio. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was hard, It was hard.
It's a really, like, even the EMT, like that took me years. That's a hard, which is the Estel Master Trainer.
Trainer.
And it's a for those of you who don't know, it is a pedagogy model of function for the voice, and how we can teach the voice in a way that works with our muscles and the way that works with the physiology of our body.
And
um
when we start the certification process, one of the first things that we have to do, we need to write a letter of intent, you know? So my letter was talking about that I was very excited about the pathway that I will start, of course, because I will learn a lot, blah, blah, blah. But the most exciting part for me is the mentor part, you
yeah.
know, because I'm a teacher since I was born. So I can sing, I have this gift, and I need to use that, But my goal all the time is to help people. And I love to do difficult things turn them like in an easy thing. It's
Yeah.
like my thing. So I love that. So I love to coach, and I'm very proud about all the work that I'm doing in certification, in SL certification.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great, because you can also meet so many people from other cultures. I'm doing crazy things now. I'm writing down in Russian. I know Russian, no, but I'm writing down. Yes, when I do observations, so I'm observing people teaching, so I have to give them some feedback and
Mm-hmm.
say what's going on, and help them in their certification process. I I'm watching videos in any single language that you can imagine. Some of them with English subtitles, some of them with Spanish subtitles, some of them I need a translator. It's nice. It's very nice. But because I love languages, I'm having this, crazy thing that I'm giving them the documents into their mother tongue, especially when they are not English speakers you know
Wow.
so I take the time to translate and check if the translation is okay, and because I think it's going to help them more if I spend time by myself saying, okay, this is the idea that I want to transmit. Okay, how can I say this now in another language?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to help them more, because if I do it in English or Spanish, they are going to use a translator. Maybe they are going to miss some information. So it's like my little gift to them, and it's so fun.
I think that's fantastic. I think that it's about I love that it's about accessibility as well, because there's so much that can get lost in translation. And if you're making sure that that like your translation is an accurate version of what you're trying to say, then there's so much less that can get lost in that, rather than them chucking it into chat GPT and getting something like completely different than what you actually wanted to say. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's important because there is sometimes it's very complicated to communicate also in one language.
Yeah.
Also your mother tongue. So now imagine if you are in a third or fourth language.
Yeah.
So, it's very complicated. Yeah. So I love to do that. And I'm very obsessed with languages. So that's
How
why.
many languages do you speak? Because you speak, obviously, Spanish is your mother tongue. You speak
Yeah.
English. I think I read French and Italian, right?
Yeah, too. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've tried two other ones. So I was studying Akkadian and Sumerian when I was in university, but only the written part. So I was studying Arabic for 1 year. Yeah, so I can write a little bit, but not a lot. I was trying with the Egyptian hieroglyphics, but was very, very difficult. So I quit. And then I started with Slovak. I was there 3 years. And because I love the country, I was there like 9 times. I have a very close friend there. I go to teach there. So I try. I said, it's not going to be so tough. So I quit. And now I'm going I'm going to start with Russian because I think Russian is going to help me to
Okay.
get the Slovak. So it's like
Okay.
I'm going to get to another language to get to the other one. So yes, I love languages. I love phonetics. I'm crazy about this.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 years ago, I had the chance to start to work as Spanish teacher in one university in France. Yes. So I teach Spanish to journalism and communication students.
Wow. Do you do that
And
online?
yes, 10, 12 hours per week. Not all the year because they have crazy schedule.
Yeah.
Because it's very different from the Spanish one, so it's different. So now, for example, we have one more month of lessons, and then they will do exams, and I will see them October. So we are going to finish because they have another things. And it's amazing, because I think it's very important for me because I'm getting used to teach to people that came to me because they know me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that because it's because it's very easy to forget that you are a regular teacher, that you are a person that are learning. When people start to, adore you. Sometimes I have students that I know they are more fans than
Yeah.
students. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So these university students, they have Spanish Monday or Tuesday, and it doesn't matter if it's going to be me or you or other person. This is a mandatory subject that they need to do to
Mm-hmm.
pass the course. So I need to get them every single week.
Mm-hmm.
They are university people. They are from 18 to 22. It's a 2-hour lesson in another language, third language for them. I don't speak any French in the lessons. Yeah, and
Wow.
every time I speak French, I do it badly, very bad. So to be clear that they cannot communicate with me in English, in French, sorry. So sometimes they use English. It's very funny. So when they are stuck in Spanish, it's like they don't know how to continue. So they use English like,
Okay.
okay. And it's amazing, because they put me on earth all the time. It's like, okay, you have to win this, and they need to be, it has to be a funny lesson. They need to learn. They need to be entertained by you, and they don't know you. And it's funny when some of them discover my online persona,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh, it's you. You say, yes, it's me. And I love that. I'm very, very happy about this job. And I've never imagined that it will have something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's great.
That's so cool though, like going down a completely different, obviously still teaching, but like going down a completely different path that you're now teaching Spanish. That's amazing.
Yeah. And also because, sometimes when we are artists, if we do different things from artists, it's like that we are failing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it's very interesting because I know so many rich people. and they have, you know, they have very different businesses. So maybe they have, like a coffee shop, and then they have a clothes shop, and then a restaurant, and then a business company where they do water bottles. Doesn't matter. They have so many different things, and they do all at the same time, and nobody says, oh my goodness, you are not enough rich because you have, I don't know,
Yeah.
12 different activities. But when you are into the art, it's like that if we cannot get all the money from our art, we are failing. And I said so many years ago, no, if I can get money from different incomes, I will do that. This is not about failing, it's like being successful.
Yeah.
So, and I think this is something that we need to know, because I always said to my students, if you do all the things good, bake, I don't know, babysitting, whatever you can do that also if you have time. And if you, because you are going to get money, and it's not necessary to say, oh my goodness, I'm failing because I don't live, all my income doesn't come from my voice. It's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. Rich people does it all the time. We should do that too.
I am, I am so, I love that. I don't think I ever saw it like that for so long. You know how hard I don't, I think that it comes from a lot of like other people. When you say like, I'm a singer, they go like, oh, what are you currently in? And if you're like, oh, well, I'm not actually in anything at the moment. Oh, so what do you do for your money then? And it's like, well, I'm still a singer. I'm still a professional singer. Just because I don't necessarily have full time employment as a singer, actually, even, not a lot of singers have actual full time employment just singing. They go and
Yes.
do a show, then they have time off. They go and do a show, they have time off. Maybe you're just asking that person in their week off, like in their time between shows. And I love that because if rich people can do it, I can do it.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
it. And yeah, and we need to learn a lot from that, because people is wasting other talents because they think they are not enough, to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some students that, or I have, I had a conversation, real conversation, like 1 month ago with one girl that is an amazing actress and singer. And I tell her, okay, what are you doing now? Not so many gigs, blah, blah, blah. So what are you doing? I was thinking, I'm going there and we are going to have this conversation, and I'm going to, help you with this. And she said something like, yeah, I have an office work, not so good because, I have to pay the bills. What are you doing? I was super interested in the job. I'm doing design. Can you do design? I've never know that. So tell me more about it. And, it was very nice to see her, changing the perspective about, yeah, I'm doing something that pay the bills, but also it's very nice because I'm very creative in that, blah, blah, because at the beginning it was like very ashamed of
Mm-hmm.
telling me that she has another job, not artistry related. And I was thinking, great girl, because now you have another income. So we need incomes, different incomes. Because also actor, not all also and only singing, sorry, but if you are an actor or a
Yeah.
musician, one of my best friends told me the best advice to an actor is save money. You need to develop the ability to save money. If you are used to save money, you will survive because you don't
Mm-hmm.
know when you are going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So in the middle, in this middle time, no between movies or
Yeah.
stages, you can do other things and get money, and it's not something bad.
I love that. I wish that I had thought more about that earlier in my career, I think, because I was always like, I mean, teaching for me it was kind of accidental because I was waitressing and my singing teacher said to me, hey, Zoe, I want to give up Fridays. Do you want to just take these students that I don't want to teach? I don't have space for them. I was like, yeah, sure. So I didn't even know where middle C. I couldn't play a note on the piano. I was just singing scales with the students. Like I didn't know how to play. And that's sort of how it developed. But it was a bit of an accident. She was like, oh, you ask lots of questions about vocal technique. You'd be a good teacher. And it was, you'll make more money than waitressing. So I was like, sold, like I'll make more money, less time than waitressing. And I never thought that I would teach, but I absolutely am obsessed with it. And I love it.
Yeah.
But I also love waitressing as well. And actually, a couple of years ago, when I moved to Germany for the first time, I was like, I need to practice my German. I went and worked at a restaurant for 8 months again and was waitressing because I was like, right, I need to be forced to talk German. And I went back to it. And I felt at that time, although that was the reason why I was doing it, I still felt like I was a bit of a failure because I was like, hey, I'm not singing. This is like, but actually, I really love waitressing. It's actually a lot of fun.
It's very fun.
And you're mostly working with like 18-year-olds and you get free lunches and you get to, just like bring it's a really difficult job and it's you're using your body a lot, you're moving a lot. But yeah, I still felt like at the same time that I was very much like a not doing very well, and I
Yeah.
didn't really like enjoy that part of my time, even though I had a reason to do it. So I really like that way of looking at it because I was reading a book recently and it was talking about different types of artists and their journeys. And they were saying like there was I need to have a look at who it was because I can't quite remember which author it was, but she said that she has a normal 9 to 5 office job because she doesn't want her art to have to earn her money because she feels like she doesn't have the creativity anymore and her creativity dries up. And I just loved that. I was like, actually, if we want to be singers, do we really have to make money from it? Um, is that really the end goal? I teach a lot of students who want to become singers, and they're sort of in this dilemma of their parents telling them that it's not a good job to go into, and there's no money in it, and they shouldn't study music. And I'm just like, they're telling them like, I spent 5 years studying music, and like, I don't think I'm that bad off, because of it. But I had a really fun time, and I followed my passion. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter what you study, so you may as well study something that you really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally.
but it doesn't
But
necessarily have to come from just singing.
but the real question here, Zoe, is when are you going to start with a renovations business company? Because that's other talent that you have.
Do you know how many people have asked me when I'm going to start my DIY channel? I just
Yeah, but I'm seeing more that only a YouTube channel or social media. I'm seeing you, in charge of 12 guys and women saying, put the wardrobe here now with this, I mean, a real enterprise. I see that.
I love that. That is so funny because a friend of ours wants to he wants to do that as like a handyman business, but he doesn't want to do any of the office work and organize the bookings. And I was like, oh, I'll do it for you.
I see that.
But
Yeah,
I did, it's funny actually, because I did that for a long time to do children's birthday parties. I did
I
that
know.
for 10 years. And I used to be really ashamed about that, actually. I used to feel a lot of shame and not really tell people that I ran children's birthday parties until I did one in Munich and I was dressed as Elsa. And we often at the parties would do it so that the children didn't know that I was a real human. So I would arrive and then the parents would get the children into a different room. I would arrive and get changed in the bathroom, go back outside and ring the doorbell because I couldn't drive a car in my massive Elsa costume. It was very difficult. And I would come in and just the kids, like their eyes, like going so wide that like Elsa, and at the end sending me like little messages. And I just thought to myself, like, why am I ashamed of this job? It's in entertainment. I get to sing Let It Go 3 or 4 times a weekend. Like that is the reason why I can belt so long. And so because of kids' birthday parties. And also like you bring so much joy to people. Does it matter how old they are in the end? But I think a lot of people, I think it had to do with me thinking of the way other people were looking at me and that kind of part of my life, which was silly.
We need to change that,
Yeah.
because also the big artists right now, where they are getting the money, from sponsoring, from other trademarks, from other things. They start fashion, they start with fragrances, they start with makeup. And it's like, so yeah, we need to change that thought fast.
And they also do birthday parties.
Yes, very expensive ones, but yes.
Very, very expensive birthday parties, but
Yeah.
they still perform at them. And that, like, I think that brought me like a little bit more down to earth. But I think it has a lot to do with the rhetoric of like, what you've got to be a serious actor, like a serious musician if you're going to go into this, like it's got to be serious work. And in the end, I'm thinking to myself, nothing about singing is fucking serious. Like it's a job where you get to do what you love the most. And does it really matter if it's for like a Kellogg's commercial, or like would that be serious, or would
Yeah.
like singing at Lady Gaga's wedding be a which is the level, and when have you reached that success? I think that's the challenge.
And also, because I have another thought for you that maybe you're going to like it. I think that the less famous you are, the better you live. Because there are like, when you are in a place where you get money from your singing or your own gigs or working with others, blah, 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 but you don't have the famous part of that, and you don't have the responsibility to be very public, blah, 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 you can do a good life and go on holidays and do other things. And, you can get through life in a very nice way. But when you go to another step farther, because if you start to charge, I don't know, imagine 3,000 euros per gig for singing one happy birthday, and then you stop, it's very complicated to come back and try to get 1,000 or 500. First of all, because so many people are not going to call you because they are going to think that you are not available or you are going to be very expensive. So it's like, I think it's the less, the better here too. That if you want to be famous and do all the things that famous people do, go ahead. I don't want to. Very crystal clear. This is not something for me. Yeah.
Yeah. That it's interesting that you said that. I was talking to someone who was the guitarist of the singer who was an Adele impersonator, and she went on, I think it was The Voice Germany, and she got quite far. And they were like, "You're so like Adele. You're so like Adele." She didn't actually like. She didn't want. She is now an Adele impersonator, but beforehand she wasn't, and she didn't really want to be. And then she thought, okay, I'm just going to run with this. Afterwards, I'm going to be an Adele impersonator. And like, this will get me, I got lots and lots of praise for doing that. Afterwards, it took 3 years. She didn't get a single gig because people thought she got so high in this program. She must be booked out. She must be expensive. And she'd been working full time, like not, I don't know about full time, but she was a gigging musician anyway. She was in a band. They were playing weekly and regularly. And then she didn't get booked for another 3 years.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what you're talking about. Like you get to a point where you like, where is then like the money actually going to be coming in? Because fame is like one thing, but you've got to be able to turn it into actual money. And that's, like you said, like why they're going into makeup, fragrances, sponsorships, why they're taking on these things, because in the end, it's about like, even in the performing situation, you don't earn a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah. And why, what is success? You know what I mean? Because if your music is heard by, I don't know, 1,000 listeners on Spotify, and maybe you are very happy about that, and it's enough for you, and it's great, because I think especially for young generations, numbers are getting crazy. And they're, starting to be very obsessed about the numbers, about blah, blah. If you don't have certain numbers, you are not successful. And this is dangerous, So why do you want to why do you want to be famous? I think this is the first question. Second one is, what is to you to be successful? Which are your real goals, And it's important because I always says that when you have a voice or guitar or piano, whatever, we have like a gift that is something for others. So we are like the vessels, like in Christian music, that we are like the vessels and we open the mouth and it's for others or for other. But in this particular case, it's like that our voice is for other people. So we need to, enjoy the situation, enjoy everything, because it's something that we need to give others, not to us. So it's very related with ego too, I think, all this situation. So again, we are here to help people, so we can help them teaching them or singing them a song too. And
I
it's
love
nice.
that. I love that. That it's about a gift to share with others. I think that's really beautiful. You're quite famous though in Spain, right?
Yes
For-
and no. And
But you're
the
on a TV show.
yeah, but it's my in my region. So
Okay.
I'm known in my region, but I'm known in the vocal coaches still community, yes, because they know me, but I'm not super famous. Now that we are recording the new season of the TV show, and now when they are starting with the newspapers, the ads, everything. So when I went out, go shopping, or to a restaurant, it's like and so people look at you or asking for a photo, but not a lot. And the secret, I don't need it. So it's great if people the
Mhm.
other day I was in the theater alone. I love to go alone to the theater, to the cinema. I want to go alone. I don't want people around to talk. So I want to get. So I was sitting there on the between acts, because it was a musical. I was there like Lily Lily. So two girls, but two women passing through. Hola Alicia, and I say hola, and I didn't know them, but it's okay. So that's it. That's my relationship with fame right nowadays. So people is very nice, and it's okay. Sometimes people came to the TV studio, and they ask for pictures, or they say very nice things to you. These kind of things are
Mhm.
very nice, but it's something very, you know, very easy to go. It's not very wow. Like no, 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 no. It's okay.
But
It's
do you
okay.
notice then that there's a big difference between like people, as you said before, like people are kind of coming to you for lessons because you're relatively famous?
Yes and no. I was very aware about the conversation that we had before, that people think that I don't sleep. This is something very common. So they think that I'm 24 hours, 24/7 nonstop, doing things, because I do a lot of things, but I'm very disciplined with time. So
Hmm.
I sleep all the time 8 hours. Not today. I'm very tired today because yesterday we record, so I only slept 6.5. So I'm very tired today. But regularly, I ate 8 hours by night. I have so many spaces in my regular day to rest, to watch movies, to go with my dog, things. So sometimes I need to remind people, hello, I am here, because that's the thing. Sometimes they write me and says, I didn't write you before because I was thinking that you are going to be very busy, blah blah. So I have an amazing online agenda that it's
Hmm.
public. So you go there and you can book in advance, and it's okay. You know what I mean? So
Awesome.
I try to remind people that the agenda is there, and sometimes, if I'm going to be very busy, like this month is going to be impossible, I use I post something about, not
Hmm.
about please book because you are going to be without, no, no, no. It's like, no, people, I'm going to be very busy, so if you want lessons, please go to the agenda and see if it's something now, or you are going to wait a couple of months or something, no?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think now the coaching that I do is very specific.
Hmm.
So it's not about professionals or not professionals, but my individual coaching is very related with STL certification
Okay.
for sure, and also with accent coach, because I do accent coach for Spanish speakers that they want to change between accents from Latin America to Spain or backwards.
Wow.
I love phonetics, so I love to do that. It's very good. I love that. And what else? And regularly weekly lessons with people, not anymore, because I was doing that for so many years. I was doing a little, I'm trying to calculate when we do it in the COVID time. I was trying to calculate how many hours of individual coaching I had, because know about workshops or groups or choirs. No,
Yeah.
I was trying to do an estimation about how many hours per week, how many weeks per year, blah, blah. So it was more than 10,000 hours of individual coaching in 2020, you know. So it's like something that it's not that I don't want to do it anymore, but I have a great team of people around me that they have the fire inside to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm 44, so I have energy for not so many things like before. I'm very active, I have a lot of energy, you know, but it's like there are other people that can do that. You
Yeah.
know, if you came to one lesson and it's something that I know that you are going to need weekly lessons, I'm going to recommend you to one of my colleagues, because it's going to be very expensive if you do with me. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm-hmm.
very honest with people. So it's like, no, we are not going to solve this in 2 lessons. You are going to need more.
Mm-hmm.
So go to work with this person or this person or this person. So I have so many people around that I can, you know.
Cool.
Or also, I have a student a couple of weeks ago that she told me that she wants to work in vocal effects. It's not my specialty. I have people with that, so go for it. So we will
Cool.
work on the things that she wants, and then she will go to other colleague. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So now I do less, but I was doing so much, you know,
Yeah.
that I think it's enough, you know, enough from now. But of course, if people need me, I'm very happy to help them. And I have also birthday gifts, you know, like I get this lesson with you because it's my birthday gift from this year or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's very nice, you know.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Hmm.
I love that. I'm going to put all the links down below though, because I did see on your calendar you have like a little bit of teaching space available in March.
Yeah, this month it's crazy, but we don't know when people is going to see this, so
Yeah.
go there just in case, you know. And also I have light summers now. For example, I it's like mandatory for myself to have long vacations, long
Yeah.
periods of resting, you know, because it's too much. We do too much, so we need to, you know, slow down, take care of ourselves. Is very important, I think,
Oh, I
too.
totally agree with you. I think that's probably the one thing I'd say to all singers is to make sure that you protect yourselves against like people, like you were saying when you started, like trying to get you to go on the road and then 5 days off and then go on the road, you know, protect. Obviously, for those sorts of jobs when you're young, you probably have more energy to do it, but definitely to protect yourself. You know, you need to have days off. You need to have time off when you're sick. You need to ask for the time off. Um, to make sure that you're not just like going to burn yourself out. Because I know that's happened to me a couple of times.
Me too,
Where,
you know, but new generations, they know that. I'm very
yeah.
jealous about that. And we need to learn. Yeah, we need to learn. And I'm learning like crazy with them because they know that. It's like, no, this job is too much. No, I'm not going to do that. No, no, no. I don't want to coach there because it's like so many hours and going back. No, 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 I'm not going. It's not worth it. And I say, great.
Wow.
They
The
know.
shit that I took when I first started teaching and like doing anything, you know, like it'd be like, oh yeah, Zoe, can you hire a car and like drive 3 hours to go and earn no money because this job has now moved further away from where it was originally. Yeah, okay, I'll go do that and I'll end up losing money, whatever. But I reckon someone from, you know, as you said, the next generation will just be like, no. I wish that I'd, yeah, as you say, a bit jealous about that. That's absolutely
Yes.
incredible. So, where can anyone find you though if they'd like to know more about you?
Okay, my website is only in Spanish.
No, I
But
translated it into English today.
okay, how?
Google.
Okay, so you can read my on my website, yeah, and we are going to have huge changes in the website in 2025. So yeah, it will be great if they visit there, and also with the calendar, with the agenda, it's very easy to contact with me.
Yeah.
I'm very active on Instagram too, Facebook too. TikTok, not so much, but I love to watch TikTok videos. So I use it like it's my guilty pleasure thing. So I'm there like a user, more like
Hmm.
a creator. YouTube also, and email. I'm open to get emails. You know, sometimes spam gets crazy with some countries and languages, but Instagram is always a good way to, to get me quickly.
I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today to have like a really lovely chat about everything. I can't believe yeah, I didn't know all of that about you. And I think it's really amazing like what you've been doing in your journey as a singer. I think it's fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and I hope to see you soon again, here
Yeah,
or whatever.
absolutely. We'll sort it out.